Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT and the D. All you nerds out there.
Welcome. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT in the D show. I'm your host, Bob Wallenspiel, hanging out with co-host, producer extraordinaire, Randy Walker. Guest this week, he was back on the show in 2017. That's how long we've been doing this, Randy. You believe this, correct?
Yeah, I was even doing it back then.
You were. I think that's when you started, wasn't
around
it?
that time.
Yeah. Andrew Koper's in the house from More Gets Done. We're going to be talking about worker productivity and not AI. This is going to be interesting. I'm curious to see where you go with this. But you can find us online, itandthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials and subscribe anywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Next week, Thursday, March 19th, 5 o'clock, we are back at Bar Louie in Royal Oak. We are just post-holiday, so bring your St. Patrick's Day self.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be over your hangover by then.
Yeah, you got a day in between the holiday and...
I did I tell you my recipe from last year? So if you go to Wiggly's at Eastern Market and they have, I got a 3-pound brisket.
Okay.
It's already corned. It's already done.
Yeah.
And I put it in a crock pot with 4 cans of Guinness.
Nice.
For 8 hours. I could open up a restaurant just serving that on a plate, just a hunk of meat on a plate. And you'd be like, it's the greatest thing I've ever eaten.
Perfect. But we will see you there in Royal Oak.
Meetup.com/IT in the D. Always no cover, no speakers, just a bunch of techie idiots drinking beer and talking about nothing. Speaking of, Andrew, how you doing? Good to see you. It's been a while.
Good, Bob. Thanks for having me on the show. This is exciting.
Absolutely. We go back a minute.
Some of the stories I might tell, I've been doing this in Detroit for a while.
I was going to say,
and some of the context, like I want to tell the origin story.
I love a comic book guy. I love a good origin story
of More Gets Done. But the world was a different place when I was like, there's a need here and I want to make this. And so it might not register with Gen Z or Gen Alpha like it.
Nothing does. That's all right, though. No, like IT wise, where'd you get your start in town? Like, were you, I know you're like entrepreneur now.
Yeah.
What were like, how'd you cut your teeth?
I came out, went to liberal arts college, graduated with a degree in economics. But I was really inspired by the guys that were inventing new web things. And for the listeners who can't see us, like I'm X-Gen, I'm Gen X. So I remember when the web was really was young and wasn't ubiquitous and as it is now.
Netscape 56K modem, yeah, those are the days.
So Mark Zuckerberg and just not all these startups. I was inspired by those guys.
Sure.
Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Google. And so I was just, the world's in the misinformation revolution. I'm a hard worker, smart guy, hopefully. So that drew me into tech. And then programming. I'm a technical co-founder and then, and starting businesses. And one of my things that's always motivated me is trying to create a next, and that's why I'm excited about More Gets Done is, this is the next tech company in Detroit, is to try to like do well and do good. Like, wouldn't it be great if, this company grew and jobs and taxes and bought an old building and fixed it up.
If Facebook would have just been fine, just getting your likes and being friends with people, and selling ads. If they would have been fine.
Do people still poke each other? Is that
no?
Yes.
Do they?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I thought that was gone.
No, I have a streak with a friend that's
gross
in the hundreds.
Oh God,
a poke streak?
Yeah, we poke each other back and forth. It's up to the hundreds. I should check in because it's been a minute.
I don't want to talk to you anymore, Randy. Turn off.
But if you've noticed, they added the poke button back to the top of people's profiles.
I have not noticed. Sorry to digress. So going back to kind of your origins in Detroit.
Yeah. Grew up in Central Michigan, grew up upstate, and I was like, I want to rebuild Detroit. I live in Detroit, Detroit Booster. Had so many great times in Detroit, thousands of great times in Detroit, thousands of laughs in Detroit, and the idea was leverage tech. Again, the world's in the midst of the information revolution. Build a better mousetrap, put it online, and hundreds of thousands of millions of people around the world start to use it. It's this arc that when you have intellectually based, technology based application or technology that global distribution, as you put it on a server, is so frictionless and so cheap so that's been that's what I'm doing again with More Gets Done is just trying to leverage technology to help people and help businesses and help Detroit.
So the idea, where did you get this from, or where was the original, or where the idea come from to want to build a better mousetrap?
Great question. When I moved to Detroit, I grew up. I heard about all these problems about Detroit, bad reputation, and I moved here in the bad old days. Like pre Dan Gilbert, the listeners can't see us, can't see me, but I said I'm going to fix Detroit. I want to make it better, and so I fell in love with the buildings, all the stock of architecture. And again, this is, Dan Gilbert in the last 10 years, Bedrock, absolutely love him, has fixed up a lot of these things. But they weren't fixed up then. There's a lot, you had some beautiful, Art Deco buildings, beautiful turn of the century things in the city, houses. And so I said, this is really unique. This is really beautiful. I started to volunteer in that space. So there was a nonprofit in particular called Cityscape Detroit. And
what did they do?
They were the sister group to Preservation Detroit. So Preservation Detroit PD, it was Preservation Wayne back then, was focused on preservation. That was its particular niche.
Save the buildings that have been vacant for 20 years. That group, yeah.
I mean, classic preservationists.
Sure.
A great niche.
Did you see the CPA building just got a historic
designation?
I don't hate that, but it's like, do something with it.
Yeah, exactly. They're putting murals on the outside, I think.
Great.
Yeah.
And then,
right.
And I can tell you too that
is it even safe to be inside the building at this point?
I doubt it.
Probably not. But I'll tell you that, and because I still love that space, Detroit's built environment, that is owned with the vacant lots next to it. It's all bundled together. I think it's been for sale for a long time, but I know from my volunteer work that it's actually like that whole block, not just the CPA building.
Interesting.
So it's kind of expensive. Someone's
yeah,
they do buy that. They do.
Especially now with the train station reopened and everything.
Yeah.
It's gonna be millions of dollars, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
sorry for the rat hole.
No, it's a beautiful, quaint building right there in Corktown on Michigan Avenue. But yeah, so that's part of a bundle of properties, the lots next to it, just FYI. So it's more expensive.
So what were you doing there?
I was just young, and I started volunteering with Cityscape. Have so much love for Janet Anderson, Arthur Mullen, Kurt Weigel, Rebecca Beno-Savage, because the mission was like urban planning, urban design, development, preservation to a degree, and then just what's called the built environment. And so I was like, I want Detroit to be vibrant, dense, walkable city. It's a great place to live, work, and play, as my urban planner friends say. And so that was putting out newsletters and organizing that. It was a 501c3 and it's been around for 20 years, and organizing events, speaker series, tours, advocating at city government meetings. And so I was a member of that, volunteering. And as the years went by, I became a more senior person of this small nonprofit, and ultimately the president when Arthur stepped down. So for me, I'm going to go into like management theory here for a second.
It's fair.
I generally had a layperson's understanding of nonprofits and what 501c3 meant, but all of a sudden, like I was in charge of the show. I'm 28 years old, and so I had been researching, writing article for the newsletter, or helping to sit at a table for a developer to come and talk about developing some building, or a city official, the head of the DEGC was the keynote speaker at our annual general meeting once. But I needed to kind of step back. I went from, it's like, I need to not be an IC anymore. an individual contributor, but at kind of a more meta leader level, there's this mission and the group and the resources need to do. I'm not just working myself now, how to leverage everybody and get all these human resources, financial resources, physical resources to carry out the most of the mission. And so, I took almost a year learning, well, what does a nonprofit mean? What does 501c3 mean? What is accounting, marketing, just kind of higher, broader stuff, not just organizing a speaker event. And I knew that the web was a tool that I could use to help run the group, but this tool didn't exist. I was kind of looking online, and there was some web-based project management application, but they were really narrow in scope. So I wanted something that could, for example, we might have a speaker series event, and there might be 20 things that had to be due from writing a press release 3 weeks before the thing, to sending it to these meeting outlets, to reserving the room, to getting the speaker, to making posters, to having them sit at the desk and have people sign in. And that resided in a lot of people's heads. And so if someone wanted to do that, it was a little more work to do it. Or if someone new joined the group, it was they didn't know how to do that. And also at our meetings, people we get together and people would talk, and one of the reasons I did this is, like, we're all animals. Like, we're all born cats. We're all born like cats or dogs or squirrels, and we have great ideas, and we love to talk about what ought to be done. We love to talk passionately with our friends at parties about what ought to be done. But then no one likes work. Like, no one likes the constraint and stress of work. And so one of the battles we always had to fight there was getting together for the monthly meeting and talking for an hour or two, but then actually getting people to do these small, thankless administrative tasks that it takes to do things, to do so much in life was kind of hard. So I wanted something that just defined them clearly and also measured what the group did and what individuals did. Because one of the key underpinnings why I made More Gets Done is people do what's measured. And so if you're at a company, or if you're at a nonprofit, or if you're with your block group, and people just are so used to meeting and talking about things generally, if people are measuring, like, hey, Suzanne did 12 of these every month for the last year, and then Jim only did 6. Like, it's obvious that Suzanne's
got to step it up, or he's got to go.
Right.
Saying
she's really contributing more to the group, to the mission, to the cause, to the company.
No, so you are getting to something, because, like, the one of the mocking was, like, going to a dive bar or to a coffee house, and everybody talks about stuff, but nobody really does. Like, everyone, it's good to talk, and then trying to get anyone to step up. So, I mean, the incentive though to do, I guess, Susie did twice what Jim did, you know what I mean? But what's the incentive for Jim to, you know what I'm saying? Are you just measuring for the sake of, or like, is like just trying to break down like traditional pride? It's good to get people motivated to get stuff to get active. But again, how do you motivate, or is it just like, are they tasked with what's their job? Like, is this their job? You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in a nonprofit, or just in getting stuff getting motivated to do things, I guess. How do you, what are they tasked with doing? And I guess originally, you follow, it's kind of a long-winded, bad question, but I'm just trying to like get to the, like, what would motivate Jim to do more?
I think that's what traditionally bosses are for. I think about when I've worked in my career in the for-profits, the team gets together in the meet, and there's this person there that tells people what they need to do, or cascades down from the business owner what the workers need to do. And then at a nonprofit, or a smaller nonprofit that's all volunteers, because one of the things I learned was that nonprofits are technically like tax-exempt corporations. They're just a subset of corporations. And actually, nonprofit corporations are, I don't think a lot of people realize this, 90% the same as for-profit corporations.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like, for-profits are Exxon and they're giant and they're Republicans and they're bad, and then nonprofits are benevolent and small and
I mean, look at Blue Cross is technically nonprofit, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bizarre to me.
and good and so they're polar opposites. But in fact, any large nonprofit should be running just like a for-profit corporation, employee handbook,
Sure.
bookkeeping. So I think a lot of people don't realize that.
I mean, and there's more auditing for nonprofit too. You have to uphold different standards. Because I'm just thinking about struggles like you have a meeting on Teams, you have 6 action items come out of it, you assign it to people, you give dates, and then you come back in a week and you're like, what got done? Nothing got done. Or go 2 days, nothing got done. And you're like, holding people accountable. I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah,
it's driving towards a common goal and holding, well, why didn't you get it done? Well, I had other stuff to do. Well, I get that, but
right. And I think that touches that. I'm going to go on one weird tangent. And if that's, you know what the strangest nonprofit I know of is? Maybe you know this, maybe you don't. The NFL is a nonprofit.
Are they?
It's a deca-billion-dollar sports entertainment. It's not. I think the NFL is like a 501c3.
Really?
Yeah, it's a confederation of the NFL itself. So Google that. Well, but I'll talk. Yeah, so there's a strange one.
So it says, so this is interesting. So no, the NFL is not a nonprofit. While the league office operated as a tax-exempt 501c6 trade organization, it gave that up to avoid public scrutiny and negative publicity regarding executive salaries. They now pay taxes, and they're normal.
Okay.
So they were, yeah.
So for a long time, it was a 501c6.
6, correct.
All right. So, but that was a shock to me.
It was me as well. I had no idea.
Right. Because there's, I one of the things I learned, there's 501c3, there's 501c4, 501c5.
6 is business leagues, trade associations, and chambers of commerce.
Oh.
There's different letters mean different things, like social clubs and farm organizations. And yeah, that's the most common one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. IRS tax code right there. Just a different section.
Right.
Of tax code. But this is not 501c3 in the D. This is IT in the D.
Exactly.
So we'll bring this. We'll keep this in tech. But yeah. So one of the things I think with why I made mortgagedone.com is that the business owner or the nonprofit defines a mission statement. And if you're a McDonald's, I imagine you run a McDonald's. You're like, we want to serve hamburgers and fries in a quick, tasty manner. And so that's what everyone's working towards. That's the top line. And then the business owner can create 5 measures or metrics of what the people will do to measures of that kind of abstract goal, that kind of vision statement. And then you can easily strategic plan. There's a 3-year strategic plan where we're doing this number of, and I'm using this to run Mortgage Done myself. So it's like we have this at the beginning of the year with this many customers, and I want to have this many users by the end of 2027. This many users by the end. So your business, you strategic plan really quickly, easily. Here's how we're going to grow. Here's how we're going to do better. And then people can, as they create tasks in Mortgage Done or projects, which are groups of tasks or processes, businesses tend to do the same thing over and over. Business processes. You can align them to, you can associate them to the metrics, the org's metrics that the owner or the CEO created, so that everyone's working on what's most important. But to go back to what we were talking about a minute ago, there is a yearly chart of, we need to do the quarterly filings every quarter. You can spell that out, and we have this new employee onboarding process, and it's the same 12 steps. And so anytime you hire somebody, create that and put that on there. And so you can, the company's or organization's operations are kind of clearly defined. And I think of it as so everyone sees what needs to be done. It's clearly communicated. It's not stressful. I think the analogy is like, imagine I love my Outlook calendar for my work and my Google calendar for my personal life.
I do the same.
And imagine that you had to keep track of all your meetings in your head. You're like, what do I got to do tomorrow?
I wouldn't show up to anything. I'm just dead honest.
Imagine you had to keep track of that all in your head. Work is hard. Work is stressful. We all know that. And this is like that. Imagine the operations. Imagine what needed to be done tomorrow and what needed to be done this week or this year was just spelled out like your calendar, and it took that mental load off of you. This is like that. The communication is so much clearer. The definition is so much clearer. The individual workers can leverage their domain knowledge to take that process, that 25-step document and refine it and make it better. So it just spells out your company's operations.
So I mean, it's project management. Is it to-do list? Is it everything? Is it? I'm just trying to get my hands wrapped around like what.
Great question. It's generally like a web-based project management application, but I hate to say that. Framework for doing work. A company's operating system. Because it's. I'm a developer by trade, and so I've worked on a lot of teams of using Jira to develop an application. I think it's probably industry standard around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So Jira is great. I've worked on big and small teams to develop an application with a project manager, maybe a project owner, and some business analysts, and define the tasks and 2-week sprints so this is different. But this isn't a web-based project management because it's not industry specific. Like the guys at Rivet downtown, like they have a construction scheduling application.
Right.
Love Anthony Montalbano. Love those guys.
Also been on the show.
Yeah.
Not for Rivet work, but other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I love that there. I've got a ton of respect for Anthony. So that's for building buildings. It's very industry specific. And then the other thing I experienced in my career was if you're using Microsoft Project or a traditional, you might have a project manager and they might make all these Gantt charts, and then that information is just all kind of thrown away when it's done. It's okay, that's done. That we're never going to open that file again. And the missed opportunity, and one of the reasons I made More Gets Done was like the business owner could have this for the entire organization, and they could give the core of it is creating a task on the SaaS application. Creating a task, maybe description assigned to somebody, start date, close date, and then projects and business processes, and like a web-based project management application.
Like, are you putting a value on like each task, and like how is that what you're? Yeah, I'm just thinking like to kind of show it's an ROI to it, or
it's really what needs to get done. What is our operations? What do we do? Let's define it and then have these charts, these visualizations of what we're doing and what people are doing.
So is this more for regular, repeatable, everyday work processes, or is this for like one-off, do this thing and then it's done forever?
And then when these things are done, there's another table, there's another chart, another visualization of what's been finished, what's actually been finished. Again, by the organization as a whole, or you could look by individual people. So just what needs to be done is clearly communicated. It's clearly defined, reduces stress, reduces friction. It makes, like I like the calendar analogy. Imagine you had to keep track of all that stuff in your head. Most of the places I've worked, a lot of that knowledge is in people's heads, and they communicate it via email or talking in meetings in a really unstructured format. So I think if this was just defined on web pages and visualizations, you can see what we're going to do this upcoming year. It's surprisingly clear. It's surprisingly unchaotic. And then you have this other yearly chart of the previous year or of the past 12 months. And this is what we've actually finished.
I wish I had a year look ahead of what my whole
to look ahead.
Yeah, like my whole work for the year planned out.
See, now my wish is it's those leaving a meeting, having 6 to-dos, and then holding like
following up on them, or
following up is easy.
Okay.
Because I do my own, but like getting other people to like, where do they rank it? You know, my important stuff is not, you know what I mean? It's like the network.
So importance. So that brings up like, so you've got the chart, you've seen what was done in the last year. Are there any actions that you can take from that data, or things you can learn from the data? Like how is that data used once it's compiled?
Good question. And I think that's up to the business owner or the team lead, because you have this in a way you didn't have before, when it was just weekly status meetings and people talking about stuff. You know, we did 10 of these a week last month. Let's try and do 15 of these a week this month. You have this data. You have these, as people mark things as finished, tasks as finished, processes as finished. You have this data that you didn't really have before, and the business owner can use it to, see what people are doing and how they can improve. And it's for the entire organization. It's not just for a project that was used in Microsoft Project and then is never looked at again. And it's not a to-do list. It's not just one person going, I need to do this. And it's not vaguely competitors or like a Slack or Teams like messaging. That's for communicating what needs to be communicating and what needs to be done. But it's also very loose, very, very messagey, very unformatted.
Every time I try to use Microsoft To Do, I start it, and then I stop. Like
it's better if you use Planner as like the thing that populates
Teams,
To Do, because those Planner tasks will trickle down to Do.
I used Planner like 6 years ago. I haven't touched it since.
It's gotten better.
Has it gotten better? All right, I'm on it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a neat space, and I don't think anyone hit the nail on the head. I see so many opportunities. Teams of software use Jira, but for like running a library, running a city government, running a nonprofit, the GDP of the United States is $30 trillion, and there are lots and lots of anything from large, medium-sized corporations to small corporations to nonprofits to block groups who could use this to, just define what needs to be done, communicate clearly, again, less friction. And I believe that people are 20% more efficient. And so to put some numbers on this benefit and stay away from technical, here's the MVC framework, here's the front end framework. If you had a company that had revenue of $10 million, you probably have people are 70% of, you probably have about 125 employees. People are 70% of a organization's budget, their costs, payroll. And so if those 125 people, that $7 million worth of payroll is 20% more efficient, that's a $1.4 million savings. That's $1.4 million of increased productivity you're getting.
What do you say, like, when you say more efficient, like faster, like innovate? We've been talking about this now for 6 months, like the cutting out an hour using Copilot, for example. Mm-hmm. And if you're not innovating, like, what are you doing? Are you just sitting at the coffee cooler? So it's been a common theme for the show. When you say more efficient, what better, faster?
What needs to get done is clearly defined, and then the ticking clock of we're making the next generation of our product. We're having we're a big nonprofit. We have our annual general meeting coming up. We're going to have an exhibit at a trade show. We need to do. You just have all these steps, and if they're defined, and if it took 5 people a year ago, like, let's say there's gonna be a trade show at Kobo, and there was 70 steps, and it took 10 days to get that ready. Could you, knowing that and having that document, having that artifact from last year, can you do it this year in 65 steps in 6 days? Can you improve once you have that all spelled out on a table or a chart in front of you? Can you refine that? And then I like the ticking clock of if you're Ford and you've got a team of customers, tech support people, and why did Sandeep did 15 tickets, did 15 things, and Jane did 9 and Steve did 6. Like Sandeep's a really valuable worker. Like he did a lot.
They're all password resets. They were just quick.
And so I think that incentivizes people to work hard when it's not ambiguous. Well, something that's kind of frustrated me about work, maybe the people who rise up the org chart, maybe the people, I'm really aggressive. I'm really self-centered.
I was say it's never about what you do. It's how many people can see you doing what you do.
Well, running a help desk, I remember there was one guy he would 4X everyone else on tickets.
Yeah.
But he would just grab and other people work on projects. And again, that's why I said like talking about assigning a value, because like not saying one was more valuable than the other, but there was more weight.
Yeah.
He did 20 and he did 400,
yeah.
But these were
like,
and this was,
you
both
do 4 workflow projects versus 200 password reset tickets.
Right. They're both
they're both important
because you get people up and running, but it's the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Some things are harder. Some things are simpler. Some things are more important than the weight.
Does the product have any sort of like work tracking or weighting system or anything like that to keep track of? Or is that all independent personal evaluation after the fact?
There's no exact, there's, I've thought about it in the future where a priority, like a task, can be high, medium, low. I just added I've got the first wave I'm incorporating, this just launched around the beginning of the year. So I've got I'm incorporating the suggestions of the first wave of users into it to make it better. I added, you can assign things to like, this is a human resources task, this is an accounting task, this is a tech task, but no like maybe score of importance. I think if a manager or a business owner they might maybe kind of do an apples to apples or oranges to orange comparison to your point of like a password reset ticket versus an install a new server a ticket or something like that, or a task. But well, I'm losing my train of thought here, but yeah, it's all defined and it's visible. Oh, so what I was gonna say was, I have seen in my work life people who are aggressive, or more selfish, maybe like better looking, kind of shape the work and what success is in the team in terms of getting promotions, rising up the org chart. And I one of the reasons I made this is I was like tasks and work and completing things. Maybe you're introvert. Maybe you're I'm trying to like autistic spectrum or something like that. Maybe you're not a self promoter. Maybe you're not really aggressive, but maybe you sit down and you knock out stuff. Like this becomes more visible. Maybe you're, I don't know, minority. Maybe you're not like the classical. Who was the guy in Mad Men? Who was the Don Draper?
That sounds right. I didn't watch it.
Don Draper.
Yeah, like he's the guy who rises up the org chart just on drive and aggression and good looks and defines thing. And then this is more rational, more data driven. Hey, you have these visualizations of what's getting done, who's doing it, and Michelle's actually really productive. Minorities, women, maybe people are traditionally overlooked. Some, it's visible now that they're creating a lot of value. They're doing a lot of the work.
Interesting. So, where are you at now in the product you launched? Like, what are you hoping for? What's next?
I'm kind of using Agile, as kind of a technical founder, looking at iterating kind of rapidly on adding suggestions to make the application better. I'm kind of thinking like I'm about to launch like version 2.0 of this and made some changes. And then also marketing and getting the word out. It's funny to look at the funnel of traffic to users to subscribers, that kind of sales funnel and grow that. I on a lark, I replied to an Elon Musk tweet a week ago with More Gets Done in my SIG file in my email address, and I had a noticeable increase in traffic from organic social. I think it was from just replying on one of Elon's X. Is it? Are they still tweets?
No, they're just posts now.
Is that what happened? Because that's why I thought the same thing. It was a tweet still, but it's not.
It doesn't make sense if it's not called Twitter anymore.
Sure it does. I don't know.
I don't know. So do you have any sort of API or integrations where your tool talks to other tools or?
Great question. This has an API because, of course, some companies have implemented some ERP systems or some systems to manage their workflow. But so there's an API. So I one of the things I'm kind of excited about is I think this is tasks as a service. Like I've got a GCP account. I've got an AWS account. I've used a bunch of these.
Speaking of that, that's TAS. I heard my favorite. Did we talk about this? Agents as a service ass. I'm like the world's come full circle now. I just had to drop that. I couldn't do it. I was in a business meeting. I'm like, no, I'm not saying like, no, can't we just call them agents?
Yeah.
Sorry. Right.
I digress.
This is really powerful logic, and you don't have to program it. You don't have to hire a technical team to make this the engine for your business, this operating system for a company's operations, or hire some consultants to program it for you. You've got there's an API. Hook it into your existing system for that feature. And then what I anticipate happening is as more companies use this for their operations, they demand that their trade partners or their suppliers, like, here's how we coordinate our tasks and our work, and you're going to be working closely with us. So we want you to buy this because we're going to give you what we need from you with the task we need you for us in this. And so there's going to be a flywheel effect of then they need their vendors to also communicate with them. And what excites me is that this isn't just for shipping. This isn't just for entertainment. This isn't just for lawyers. I think this could become the best case scenario is like the backbone for global commerce. And the United States has a GDP of, $30 trillion. World's GDP is like $128 trillion.
So you mentioned shipping or entertainment or anything like that. Do you have example use cases of like maybe like a record just label or how they could use it, or how a small business could use the tool or anything like that?
I was talking to Sal last night, this guy named Sal, and he makes games. And so he's going to start to use it to coordinate with his partners. He's a technical guy to make games. And it's pretty small scale stuff around here right now. But it's also growing. I'm trying to get on the agenda of Michigan Tech Week coming up in a month at the old train station and new lab. And I want to start calling more businesses to tell them about it and have them start to use it. It's a SaaS subscription model, the freemium model, where 50 you create account for free, 15 free tasks per month for free. But then if you create more than 15, $7.99 per user per month. One of the things I want to bounce off of you guys was, this isn't AI. AI is everywhere. AI is in everything, to paraphrase Mark Andreessen. So, given generally speaking a web-based project management, how do you think you could AI that? How do you think you could?
The first thing that comes to my mind is automatic subtask creation.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, I need to do X, and it suggests, great idea. Here's the 3 steps you need to do to complete this task, or something like that.
I'm a wedding planner. I want to plan a wedding, then have the AI.
Or yeah, even a whole project. Yeah.
Be like, okay, you should do this, and this.
Yeah.
All right. Because, AI's in the world. And
yeah, like it goes back to those example workflows. Like, I'm a X and I have a Y to do. Suggest the steps for that. Or
someone made a joke today and I took it to task. I put a disclaimer in my email signature at day job. that put disclaimer that this was not written by AI.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm like, do I keep it? And I deleted it and I put it back like 3 times. I kept it. So
I like it. But even like I said, subtasks, like I need to, example, mow the lawn. Subtasks would be, make sure you've got gas, make sure that the blades are sharp, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So small scale to large scale, whole project suggestion.
Yeah. I'm fiddling around with, and I really appreciate my technical partner, Mike Kimsel, who's a former Michigan guy. I grew up in Michigan, now down the Raleigh, Durham area. We talk shop all the time. He's great. I'm looking at integrating OpenAI's, they've got an API, and I'm seeing how to use it for more complicated things. What I was fiddling with was talking to it to create a task.
Okay.
So
yeah,
and that's
another thing that just came in my mind is now that you have the data for completed tasks and stuff, have AI analyze to deliver insights and things like that. Like it looks like you spent 30% of your work on this one thing. Maybe consider streamlining it or something like that.
Yeah, I have a
it's a good call out, Randy.
See, I'm not just the pretty face.
Yeah. I've got a book on data science and data analytics, and part of that is visualizations. Like when you have a lot of data, and maybe the expert who's got to go to your boss and say, we should stock this product or we should build a store here, is a really important part of the modern world when you've got a lot of data, is be able to graph it or visualize it in a clear and
the pictures are nice, but like what story does this picture tell is the important part.
Yeah. I'm also trying to think if I can use it. One of the things I want to do is get some, you can by default, one of the important feature of this, and going back to my nonprofit founding origins, is you can make tasks are private by default. Only the person can see them, the group can see them, but you can also make a task public when you're creating it. And that can be crowdsourced. That is visible on the web where someone can see it and take it and do it. So
mow my lawn.
Yeah, they're on Morgan Sons homepage. There's Morgan Sons public tasks. Let me put this out in the world orally too. And like I'd love help with social media posts, right? I want to take advantage of the free. I don't know how to use TikTok. I know, but so Morgan Sons got an Instagram account. It's got a YouTube channel, Facebook, LinkedIn. And so I'd love help if there's people who love social media, they're good at taking pictures and doing silly dances. I'd love their help to make posts for that. So the Morgan's Done has a public open tasks page where you can, and I think this is really valuable in the nonprofit world. Tasks can be, one of the properties of tasks can be a cause. I know a lot of people who like stray dogs, adopting stray dogs, helping, and so I think they would love to, if they could look at this thing and go, oh yeah, like the dog walk, or, patrol this neighborhood looking for these things, or that would be rewarding. They'd be like, I'll take that. And then I'll do that. That would be fun to me. And then you're the Michigan Humane Society, and all of a sudden you're getting twice as much work done as you did previously with your staff of 12, because you have all these people who care about that cause and are helping out. And another property of tasks is location. So if you live in Berkeley or Corktown or whatever, you care about your neighborhood, and someone wants to clean an alley and you're free on a Saturday afternoon, and you see that you can take that, that's the network effect. That's the power of the internet. I love crowdsourcing. I love making serendipity. And when I can do some task that makes where I live better, and I'm community minded and it's right there and I can take it, maybe mow Bob's lawn,
I'm just saying. Wash my car.
Yeah.
So
right.
But also like for like public accountability, like say you're like, hey, I'm gonna, I don't know, like you're the person that, 30-day fitness challenge or whatever. You can make each day a task and people can watch your progress and see if you actually did your workout that day or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this is why it's kind of fun. This kind of spitball, this kind of brainstorming. One of the features in this is a top 25 list where, I'm kind of a sports guy. Who's number one basketball team in the country? Who's the number one college football team in the country? Like college rankings, like it's human nature, like rank things and people to want to be number one. So there's a top 25 tasks by location. So like you care about clean up the environment. And you live in Detroit. There's a ranking page there where you have an incentive to this person did 25 things. This person did 19. This person did 17. I care about this. I want to do a lot. That kind of incentivizes people to take some of these public tasks and do them because you get credit on this ranking system. But I think that's pretty powerful. Like I want to be the state champ. I want to be the boss. I want to be number one.
I miss being the mayor of Duffy's on Foursquare. Why did they get rid of that?
It's still around. They renamed it to Swarm.
Stupid. Bring it back.
There's no incentive anymore.
Fighting for supremacy for your local dive bar was probably.
But there's no incentive. You get coins, but there's no way to spend the coins, and the mayorships aren't worth anything. Like
I made friends like from that, like going, oh my god, are you the guy that keeps?
Exactly. But
keep
like
beating me out.
Remember when it was like if you're the mayor at Pizza Hut or whatever, you get a free order of breadsticks if you dine in.
Oh, that was a thing. Yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Checked in on. No, I used to get. Where did I used to get pretzel sticks? Clubhouse BFD.
Yeah.
If you checked in.
Yeah, I remember doing that. I think. Yeah. But like they used to have the stickers on the door saying "check in here" or tell your server you checked in. Yeah. Anyway, and it just went away.
I love that. Thank you for bringing back Foursquare. Are you guys Strava guys? Do you guys know Strava?
I have an account, but I haven't logged in years.
It started, I think, as a run tracking app. Like you run, you're like, I want to run 3 miles. You want to keep track of your heart.
Oh, that was the one where you could publicize your runs, and people on military bases were showing their runs and like
national security.
Yeah, national security issues. Like you could see these soldiers running around the base and know where it was,
or they'd be like
a secret location,
Syria or Iran.
Right.
I didn't know we had U.S. troops, and I didn't know there were troops in.
Yeah, so Syria. That turned off quickly, but.
It started out, I think, as a run tracking app, and then they made a social component to it, so you could connect with friends who also had Strava and see their runs. And now I think there's a running boom in America, and so it's become really popular. Now it's become an activity tracking app, rock climbing, bicycling. Yeah. But I'm kind of digressing because it's not mayor of, but they'll be like, you're the king of. They have segments like if like the DeQuinder Cut in Detroit. If you run the DeQuinder Cut like really fast, they'll be like you're the king of the DeQuinder Cut for running, and then someone else might try and run on the DeQuinder faster than you, so they can become the king or the queen of that. It's.
I need to find a stretch nobody has run before. So I can be the king for. Then a day until somebody finds it.
The king of Van Dyke. The king of Van Dyke between 15 and a half and 16.
Is geocaching still a thing?
Yeah, it's not a big thing in the zeitgeist anymore. But
so that like people leaving like buckets of Legos or something and just like putting like you have to go look for.
I've seen a couple of videos on TikTok still of people doing it. Like, help me solve this hard one because they're like, hey, I'm here and I have no idea what I'm looking for or things like that. But I haven't seen.
Weird.
I don't know anybody who does it anymore.
Leave things around and people could trace and track to find them. I'm not a Pokemon Go person.
It's not a Pokemon thing.
That is still physical. A thing, though. Is it? I don't know. I think Ingress still is too. The thing that Pokemon Go is built off of. But
as soon as you turn it on, your phone goes to like 10% in like 3 seconds. But Andrew, hey, it's always good seeing you.
Yeah.
Wish you nothing but the best. Moregetsdone.com.
Yeah.
And keep us posted as things get ramped up.
Headquartered in Detroit. It's a people maximizer. It's a productivity maximizer. It makes every man a Superman, every woman a Superwoman.
Love it. We're going to wrap things up for this episode of the IT and the D Show. On behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. It's going to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.